Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer 55551, and I am back with a My Two Cent video for this week, for the week of September 18th to the 24th. No video review for this week though. A couple things came up and I have to sort of deal with them and all that stuff, so I won't be able to do either a game review or a movie/TV show review or anything like that though. So I'm hoping next week, but we'll wait and see how that all pans out, to be exact though. But anyway, we got 4 stories to cover, including Nvidia, and supposedly a employee may have leaked some information about the possibility of one of the chips could be used on either like a Switch 2 or Switch Pro or anything like that. We also want to talk about the possibility of a new PS5 model that could be in the works, and it may have a detachable disk drive or something like that. We also want to talk about certainly leaks that unfortunately have come out with GTA 6 and all that stuff. And finally, last but not least, I do want to talk about Jeff Grubb, who recently responded following the Nintendo Direct, how the so-called rumors about the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, or the Metroid Prime Remaster showing up during the Direct, and learning that didn't really happen at all. And if you're interested in where I got a lot of the source of these informations though, links will be in the description of this YouTube video, so you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, I like to do what I like to call the quick My 2 cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount details or anything like that. The first one is that report of Suikoden, if I'm saying the name correctly, 1 and 2 HD remaster from Konami is happening, and they plan to come out in 2023. The game has also been announced to come to multiple platforms, including the Nintendo Switch. It certainly is nice to see this though, although I kind of somewhat question the reason behind Konami doing this. Maybe that might be the fact that Illusion Chronicles is 100 Heroes is happening, and given how well that Kickstarter did and the response to that game, maybe that caught Konami's attention and all that stuff. And I've heard that basically they are thinking about wanting to do more Suikoden titles, so if they do, I mean, great, but given the reputation Konami has gotten over the years, they got their work cut out, to be exact. We also learned that EA Motive is working on a single-player action-adventure game with the Marvel license. This one has to do with Iron Man, and also it's going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out though. I'm still a little iffy with EA given their history and their reputation and all. Yes, they have produced good games, but we've also seen them get themselves into a whole mess of trouble with, you know, microtransactions and all. And as we saw with the Marvel's Avengers game, just because you have a that's my cat attacking my feet and all, just because you have a popular brand doesn't automatically mean it's going to be a success. So we'll have to see how this one plays out and all that. We also learned that Sonic Frontiers, though, the Switch version, there's rumors reporting that the game will be targeting 30 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch at 720p. Honestly, I would say I'm not hugely surprised by this in any way, though. But I will admit I am somewhat disappointed, to be exact, though. I mean, 30 frames per second, I mean, it's okay if it's a stable 30 frames per second. I prefer 60, but it would have been nice to see them push to at least try to aim for 1080p when playing the Switch in dock, though. I think, for what we understand, Nier Automotive, the end of Johan edition, is going to be 1080p 30 frames per second when docked, while at 720p 30 frames per second when in portable mode. So this rumor, I wouldn't be surprised if it's true, but I will admit it's a little bit unfortunate, to be exact though. We also learned that supposedly there are reports that the upcoming Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Engage, the file size for this currently sits at 15 gigabytes, which again, not bad, but if you're aiming to take the digital approach though, you might want to keep that in mind though. We also learned that Nintendo is removing the ability for you to sign into your My Nintendo account via Twitter or Facebook. Supposedly this has to do with basically security concerns, so yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate though. However, from what I've been reading, it doesn't sound like this will impact, let's say, if you took a picture of something when you're playing the Nintendo Switch and you want to post it on Twitter or Facebook. It looks like that, at least from what I'm reading, isn't going away. But if you're trying to sign in with My Nintendo with a Facebook or your Twitter account, it looks like that's going to be ending that's going to be ending soon, though. We also learned that the decision from the developers to remake Lunar Eclipse basically had to do with the success that Fatal Frame Blackwater did when that was released for the Nintendo Switch and, of course, multiple platforms. So, certainly nice to see the Fatal Frame series is sort of getting a bit of a resurgence, though. It will be interesting to see if we ever see a brand new entry into the Fatal Frame series, though. I don't mind if they want to remake or port some of the older ones that never saw the light of day or were just stuck on one system or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind a new entry if that ever happens, though. We also learned that EA sees tremendous opportunity should Call of Duty become Xbox exclusive, to be exact, though. This is a response that Andrew Wilson made, though, and while I definitely see the possibility that basically there could be opportunities for the Battlefield series, EA has their work cut out, especially after we saw how Battlefield 2042 was handled, and how that didn't really go down very well. So obviously, if EA is serious about having Battlefield become like a true competitor to Call of Duty, they certainly have their work cut out, though. As far as Call of Duty goes, right now there's a back and forth between Microsoft and Sony, though. Microsoft said that they will extend the Call of Duty's exclusivity for 3 more years and all that stuff. Sony is saying something different, so right now it's a back and forth at the moment. We also learned that Microsoft is looking to bring in more Japanese titles to the Xbox system, which is certainly a good thing, though. And while I'm all for, like a lot of the Western titles like Halo and looking forward to other titles like the Outer Worlds and all that, I wouldn't mind seeing more Japanese titles, maybe on the scale of similar to what we saw during the 360 era, like either Blue Dragon or Lost Odyssey, which is a favorite of mine, to be exact, though. Or even if they ever decide to bring back Scalebound. Right now, the answer is still no, but hey, who knows? Microsoft is in a different situation than they were back during the Xbox One era, so who knows, maybe one day Scalebound could get revived, but right now it doesn't seem like that's happening anytime soon. We also learned that Octopath Traveler's development is now 90% complete, which is certainly nice, though. I enjoyed the first one when it came out for the Nintendo Switch, and I'm looking forward to picking this one up when it comes out to the Nintendo Switch. Again, it's coming to the PlayStation system as well, but not the Xbox, which is kind of odd considering the fact that the first one did make its way to the Xbox systems via Game Pass and all. We also learned that supposedly publisher 2K has become the latest victim of a hack and all, and they are basically encouraging folks out there because of this to, change their password and all that stuff. So yeah, not a great thing for 2K to be exact, though. We also learned that supposedly the game Cyberpunk 2077 has seen a resurgence thanks to the success of the Netflix anime Cyberpunk Edge Runner, if I'm saying the name correctly, though, which it's certainly nice to see this game getting a resurgence, though. I will admit it should not have launched in the state that it should have been, and basically CD Projekt Red absolutely deserves the criticism and backlash for it, though. But still, nice to see that there is still some hope for the Cyberpunk IP, though. As for the anime, I've watched 4 episodes so far. I'm going to try to watch all 10. I will say I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. And last but not least, there is a report coming out that the first trailer or teaser trailer for the upcoming Super Mario movie will be shown at New York Comic Con this year, though. I still have my concerns about that movie. I mean, it has the potential to be good, but there's so many ways Illumination, Universal, and Nintendo could easily screw this up. That, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around Chris Pratt, aka who played Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie and in the MCU. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea of him voicing Mario. I mean, it could work, but right now, I'm going to hold off my opinion on it until I see basically the first trailer to see how that plays out and all. Okay, with the quick My 2 cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story. And this one has to do with game journalists and supposedly person who touches on rumors and all, excuse me, Jeff Grubb though. Now, as some of you are aware, last week Nintendo held their Nintendo Direct though, and it was certainly a meaty one, about 40 minutes long, and there were certainly some pretty neat announcements ranging from surprising announcements like Fire Emblem Engage, the new entry to the Fire Emblem series, and Pikmin 4, and a majority of the titles that they showed were certainly like titles that were either mostly JRPGs or RPGs in general to farming type games, and depending on your view, either you like the Direct or not. So it really comes down to your preference and taste, but I thought the Direct was pretty good in my view, to be exact. But one of the big rumors that came out before the Direct premiered was the fact that we would see a Switch port of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, plus the report that a remaster or a remake of the first Metroid Prime game was in development, and that we would see basically this during the Nintendo Direct. Well, the Direct has come and gone, and apparently those rumors did not turn out to be true at all, and those games were never shown during the Nintendo Direct. This certainly put pressure on Jeff Grubb, who later did basically a 13-minute long video apologizing though, but several articles kind of pointed out quick cliff notes on it though. In an article from GoNintendo.com, it reads that, quote, as you very well know, there were a ton of talks about The Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker HD, and Twilight Princess HD leading up to last week Nintendo's Direct. The same goes for the rumored Metroid Prime remasters. Insider sources were claiming that all of these titles had a very good chance of showing up during the Nintendo Direct, with the loudest voice in the crowd being Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb. Obviously, the Nintendo Direct didn't mention any of the above titles. If they do exist, Nintendo isn't talking about them. While these games didn't pop up during the Direct, numerous people were quite miffed with Grubbs for pushing the rumors out there. That discontent only grew, and it finally reaches a point where Grubbs himself had to talk about the matter. Now, there is a 13-minute video on it. Apologize, that's my cat. He is on my desk right now, and just sniffing around and all that. But anyway, basically, he had to put out a 13-minute video apologizing and all, but here's a quick cliff notes on it though. The quick cliff note goes, quote, Grubbs offers an apology for the rumor. Grubbs also offers an apology on Mike, Minottis, behalf, who also spoke on the rumor. Grubbs said they jumped the gun on the rumor and never verified their source. There was no vetting process on the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess rumor. Grubbs claimed that he and Mike misheard about Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and got caught up in the hype. With Metroid Prime Remastered, Grubb is still under the assumption that it's coming out. Grubbs still says his information points to the title being released this holiday season. Going forward, Grubbs won't even talk about leaks again without actually double checking and confirming. So the thing about this, when it comes to these kind of rumors and all, you really have to be very, very careful with it though, because good majority of these times it could be false though. Now, I'm not saying some of these can't be true, and remember, Nintendo has a history of keeping things to their chest though, and sometimes they surprise us with announcements that no one expected to come out though. I mean, Fire Emblem Engage is one example. Same with Pikmin 4 though. So it's possible Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports could still exist. It's possible that Metroid Prime remaster or remake can still exist though. It's possible it could come out during the holiday season. So you can't really completely rule that out. But you really need to be careful when it comes to these rumors. You gotta either double check your facts or basically treat it as what it is, a rumor. Don't treat it as this information is 100% correct, because you don't know if it's going to be 100% correct though. It's the same approach I took when rumors started to pop up about Witcher 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch. At the time, I kind of approached it with caution because while I couldn't rule out the possibility, I mean, we had a possible ports like Doom and Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, make its way to the Nintendo Switch. There's always a possibility it could be false, but eventually more stuff started to come out until it was officially confirmed during, I think, Nintendo's 2019 Direct, where we finally saw Witcher 3 Wild Hunt coming to the Nintendo Switch. So you just got to be careful with some of these rumors. It's the same rules when it comes to reading polls, though. You have to be very careful on how you read those polls because you always have to take into account that margin of error as well, though. So overall, I applaud Jeff Grubb for apologizing for basically this and trying to be a little bit more careful next time. And anytime you hear a rumor and all, take it with a grain of salt, though. While there's always that possibility it could be true, a majority of the time, there's a very good chance it's probably not true at all. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with apparently Rockstar dealing with the fact that GTA 6 may have, or most likely has, leaked online in a way. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at a situation Rockstar has got themselves into, which is basically, apparently, footage of Grand Theft Auto 6 has leaked online and all that stuff. Now, Grand Theft Auto 6 is apparently one of Rockstar's biggest title that they are working on, and apparently all hands are on deck on this game, to be exact, though. It's also one of the reasons why remasters of GTA 4 or Red Dead Redemption are not happening, though that's been considered a rumor due to the whole how the definitive edition was handled, which I'll be honest with you, Rockstar did let's just say a piss poor job when it came to those games, to be exact, though. So a lot of things are being done with GTA 6. They're working on it, though, and they'll show it when it's ready, and it could be a while before we hear anything about GTA 6. Well, apparently, though, Rockstar was hit by a hack, though, and apparently a lot of the information about GTA 6 basically got out, and Rockstar is basically not happy about it. There are reports of them issuing takedowns for any videos that show leaked footage of GTA 6 or even somewhat reveal information about it, though, which I'm not going to do that right now. Last thing I want is Rockstar striking down my channel or my videos or anything like that, even though there are certainly issues, certainly issues that not everybody is a fan about. But apparently, according to IGN, they did respond to this. It leaked and all that stuff. In an article first published by them, they left a message on Twitter. It said, quote, We recently suffered a network intrusion in which an unauthorized third party illegally accessed and downloaded confidential information on our system, including early development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto, the statement reads. We are extremely disappointed to have any details of our next game shared with you all in this way. Our work on the next Grand Theft Auto game will continue as planned as we remain as committed as ever to delivering an experience to you, our players, that truly exceeds your expectations. We will update everyone again and soon, and of course, we will properly introduce you to the next game when it's ready. We want to thank everyone for this ongoing support throughout this situation. Now, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier chimed in on this on Twitter, and this is what he had to say. He posted 3 tweets on this one, but here, anyway, this is what he had to say. Quote, Not that there was much doubt, but I am confirmed with Rockstar sources that this weekend's massive Grand Theft Auto 6 leak is indeed real. The footage is early and unfinished, of course. This is one of the biggest leaks in video game history and a nightmare for Rockstar Games. To those who ask, there are several reasons this is a nightmare for Rockstar. One is that it disrupts work for a while. Another is that it may lead management to limit work from home flexibility. The repercussions of this leak might not be clear for quite a while though. Now, there's also been reports that they are working with the FBI and that there may have been an arrest or anything like that. But yeah, not great to hear about the fact that a hacker came in and took some information and all that stuff. I mean, with the leaks and all, I'm very mixed on all this though. While it's interesting to see early footage of games to see what they may have looked like before the final product comes out, I'm not a big fan of this approach of people who try to hack or steal information like this. And I am kind of wondering if this will, despite what Rockstar claimed, could this push the game back even more or anything like that. Now, granted, they're saying this will not interfere with our work though, but time will tell if that is the case though. Now, I have not seen any of the footage or anything like that, and I plan on not looking at any of the footage at all at this time, to be exact though, and I just don't like how this was approached. I don't like how hackers took this information and then basically posted out there. It's one thing if a game has been out for a while and then leaked footage has been shown of what the game may have looked like at the beginning. It's one thing if it's like that. I just don't agree. Just like I said, I just don't agree with this approach. So overall, not a great thing for Rockstar and all. It'll be interesting to see how much big of an impact this GTA 6 leak has on, you know, the development of Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with the possibility we might be getting a PS5, a new PS5 model. This one with maybe a detachable disk drive. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my 2 cent video, and for this one we're going to be taking a look at the possibility we could see a new PS5 model. Now, one of the things people are aware of that is when Sony launched the PlayStation 5 back in 2020 though, there were basically 2 models. They were basically the physical version and the digital versions. Now, since then, the PS5 has sort of been very hard to find in general and all, although lately there have been cases where we've been seeing it sort of pop up in stores and all, and not have to go through, you know, the situation with eBay, in which the situation where bots basically buy up a whole bunch and then basically sell at outrageous prices on eBay though. We've seen basically the model that comes with Horizon Forbidden West though. You see Sony, at least when you order or put yourself up there for one of them, seems to be doing better. So it looks like the situation for the PS5 has kind of improved to a certain degree though. But we've also seen the model see some modifications here and there, ranging from a different kind of heatsink and all that, but still with the same kind of components that have been in since when the original PS5 launched. Well, recently there is a report, and while there have been several articles about it, all seem to point to Insiders Gaming, that seems to indicate that Sony may be preparing another PS5 model, but this one was supposedly a detachable disk drive and all. From an article from Insider Gaming, it reads that, quote, the PS5 is set to get a unique overhaul in the middle of FY, which I believe stands for fiscal year 2023, with the new console launching around excuse me, September 23rd, says sources. Sources familiar with Sony plans have shared details under the condition of Anonymy, if I'm saying the name correctly, outlining the next iteration of the PS5. It's been suggested that this new console will completely replace the A, B, and C CHASSIS, if I'm saying the name correctly, that have been in production since the console launch. The console, currently named CHASSIS PS5, will have almost identical hardware to the existing console already on the market. The most surprising new feature of this the most surprising new feature of this new PS5 though is that the console will have a detachable disk drive. The detachable disk drive will be connected to the PS5 using an extended USB Type-C port on the back of the console. It is understood that this new PS5 console will be sold on its own or in a bundle with the detachable disk drive. It is also understood that the disk drive can also be purchased separately, so if it gets busted, there's no need to buy an entirely new console. Sources have implemented that although the new detachable disk drive is portable, it will not run the aesthetic of the console and will attach to it without looking external, presumably meaning the new PS5 will look similar to the existing model. However, the new detachable disk drive could entail that the new iteration of the PS5 will be slimmer and lighter, which is something Sony has been trying to implement effectively with the latest PS5 model though. It's also understood that Sony is anticipating 18.5 million units of the new PS5 console in FY 2023 and only 12 million units of the CHASSIS console as they begin to phase out. So, assuming this information is correct, again, nothing official or anything like that, I'm kind of curious to see how this is all going to play out, to be exact. The fact that they're offering basically a detachable disk drive and all. I mean, is this something that you could hook up to any PS5, including the classic one, whether it's one with a disk drive or the all-digital one? So like, let's say, if what I'm hearing this is correctly, the disk drive in your disk drive PS5 that takes physical media is busted. Can you buy this disk drive and hook it up to that PS5? Can you hook this up to a digital PS5, to be exact though? So I am kind of curious to see how that all plays out. And assuming this is all true, and this is a big if Sony does release this new PS5 model, I'm kind of curious to see, could Microsoft follow suit? Could we see like a disk drive for, say, something like the Xbox Series S or anything like that? I mean, there have been reports that there was a patent filed for a disk drive for the Xbox Series S though, but so far Microsoft hasn't really said anything at this time, so time will ultimately tell if that happens. But if Sony does release this detachable disk drive for the PS5 or this new model PS5, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft kind of follows suit and release a disk drive for the Xbox Series S though. So overall, very interesting to see that Sony might go this direction of a PS5 with a detachable disk drive. I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to work, but at the same time, it is a rumor, so a grain of salt should be taken on this nevertheless. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to part 4, and this one has to do with Nvidia and supposedly a employee commenting on basically a chip that could be used to power up maybe the next Nintendo Switch, whether it's a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My 2 Cent video, and this one has to do with another Switch Pro rumor, or Switch 2 to be exact. Now, we've been down this road before many times when it comes to rumors about the next iteration of the Nintendo Switch, the so-called Switch Pro or the Switch 2. And while there have been rumors before at one point about a 4K using OLED screen, That didn't turn out to be exactly true. The OLED part of the Nintendo Switch turned out to be true, but as far as basically it being 4K or the next iteration, that isn't always the case though. And many people are there are some out there that are kind of wondering, will we see a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro though? But to me though, I've always felt like there is a possibility we probably will see it. Given the partnership that Nvidia and Nintendo has had, which has been supposedly been very good for them though, to me I do feel that at some point a successor to the Switch, whether it's a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro, I believe will eventually happen. Well, recently there has been a report coming out from one of the employees, or at least a claim from an employee, a Nvidia employee, that apparently that may be a case as we might have an idea what the next chipset might be for Nvidia. Now, we know Nvidia is hosting their recent event. They have announced some of their graphic cards and all that. We also know that when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, that is being powered by the Tegra X1 chip. When the Switch came out, it was using the Maxwell architect of the Tegra X1, although now it's using one called Mariko, M-A-R-I-K-O. That is a revision of the Tegra X1, although there have been rumors last year pointing out that basically that Nvidia was bringing production of that aging chip to a close. But anyway, supposedly this report came out as somebody from Reddit kind of posted this out. Now, the article comes from Nintendo Life, and this is what they had to say. Quote, "This information was shared on Twitter by at Centauro Leaks after being picked up on the Game Leak and Rumors subreddit and shared by you-Follow Me in Blue. Nvidia is currently holding a 3-day event to promote many of its new products, including its next generation of graphics card, of which many of the details were leaked back in March this year. The employee comment on the Tegra 239, which can be seen below and was found as part of a message thread. It is the first official confirmation we have a specific system on a chip, SoC. And here's what the subreddit had to say. Quote, "Comments by Nvidia employee confirm the existence of Tegra 239, the SoC likely to be used on the Nintendo Switch 2. And a Nvidia employee has confirmed the existence of Tegra 239 chip, in which has been rumored since 2021, and it's being developed for the next generation of Nintendo Switch. His comments can be accessed at linux.org and states, adding support to Tegra 239 SoC, which has 8 cores in a single cluster, also moving NUM-clusters to SoC data to avoid overall allocating memories for 4 clusters away. This incident further collaborates reliable Nvidia leak copy 7 Kimi, if I'm saying the name correctly, assertion that Nvidia will use a modified version of its T234 Orange chip for the next generation Switch. As of this leak, we now know the following details about the next Nintendo Switch console. T239 SoC, information from above leak, 8-core CPU, likely to be ARM's Cortex A78 inference from above leak, Amped, if I'm saying that correctly, base GPU that may incorporate some Lovelace features. The second generation Nintendo Switch graphics API contains references to DLSS 2.2 and ray tracing support. Now, like anything, this should be taken with an absolute grain of salt, as there's no official confirmation. So, yes, it's possible this leak could be true, but like anything, we've been down this road before. That being said, though, I'm still not going to rule out the possibility that this information could somehow be true, to be exact, though. If a next Nintendo Switch or next generation Switch is going to happen from Nintendo and Nvidia, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like Nvidia's DLSS make its way into the next Nintendo Switch, though. I mean, it's possible Nintendo could try to push for 4K, but given Nintendo's history, they're not really known for pushing, you know, graphical approach to it the way Sony and Microsoft is approaching when it comes to their, you know, games and, you know, their systems and all that. So, I mean, some of it, like the DLSS, I can see happening though, but like anything, it is a rumor, and then also it still needs to be taken with a grain of salt. That being said, we're sort of coming into, you know, 2023 and all, and there's going to be a point where we are going to have to move on to the successor to the Nintendo Switch or the next Nintendo Switch, though. I mean, I still believe Nintendo is going to stick with the Switch concept for a while. I don't see them abandoning that concept anytime soon. And to me, I think it's going to be really hard for them to go back to the days of just a console and a handheld. Also, I think that they need to be very careful, and it looks like they're approaching this, but they got to be very careful for making the transition from the Wii, which sold, last time I checked, like around 100 million units, to the Wii U, which, again, last time I checked, sold like around 13 million units. So I think Nintendo needs to be very careful how they approach this, though. So overall, I would say it is a rumor. It should still be taken with a grain of salt. We don't know how accurate this rumor is and all, but I can't rule out the possibility that this could be true, and I do believe that it is possible that more than likely Nvidia's DLSS technology could make its way in a future Nintendo Switch and all, or future Nintendo console. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week, and again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about, you know, Jeff Grubb apologizing, though? Do you think he did the right thing apologizing, though? Do you think that, are you not going to take any of the information he says seriously, or do you believe that, you know what, people make mistakes every now and then? What are your thoughts about this Rockstar, this GTA 6 leak, though? Do you think that this could hamper development in any way, though? Do you think this will have a negative impact on development of GTA 6, or do you don't think this will have any kind of impact at all? What are your thoughts about this new PS5 model? Do you think this PS5 model does exist? Do you think we will see a PS5 with a detachable disk drive? And should this happen, is it possible Microsoft might release a detachable disk drive to, say, the Xbox Series S? And what are your thoughts about this rumor about this new chip for possibility for the next Nintendo Switch? Do you think this rumor is true? Do you think it's false, though? Do you think it's time for Nintendo to release a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro? And if so, do you think some features like ray tracing or Nvidia's DLSS will make its way into this next Nintendo Switch? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I assume you're watching this on YouTube, and I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye.